computer. All right. So from a business standpoint, like I said, we have one very simple goal with these calls, and that is to bring you people that, again, it doesn't just sound good in theory what we're talking about. It's not something people did years and years and years ago. It's things that are happening right here, right now. And I am very honored to be able to share the stage this week with a gentleman that, if you back up over the last 3 years, I would argue it'd be very hard to find somebody that has put more sales in their organization globally. Like, people can maybe make an argument, if at most, it's on one hand, I would bet you, people that have built more new business over the last couple of years than the gentleman you're about to hear from. This is a gentleman living down in Florida, was already a very successful entrepreneur previous to World Ventures, owned multiple restaurants up and down, the coast across the country. And on top of that, went and built World Ventures all the way to regional marketing director. Just so you guys understand, over the last couple of years, his team has grown by over 50,000 members. So wrap your head around that. Over the last couple years itself, he's one of our top trainers at World Ventures, one of the most genuine, good, down-to-earth guys you're going to get to meet, and an absolute beast when it comes to being an entrepreneur and a business owner. Going to bring a ton of great value. Had a lot of people recommending him to get on this call. Super excited to get to share with Regional Marketing Director, Beast Mode himself, Mr. Michael Marich. Mike, did you make the call, bro?
I'm on, Dave. How are you, bro?
Hey, can hear you loud and clear, Mike. I appreciate you jumping on. Good morning, happy Saturday, and take it away, brother.
Good morning, happy Saturday, happy birthday. I just found out it was a belated birthday for you, brother. Congratulations, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. And for those that don't know me, my name is Mike Marich. I am originally from New York City. Been living in Florida for the last 12 to 13 years. Been all over the world the last 10 years because of World Ventures, but before WV, I was working in the restaurant industry. And like David said, extremely successful restaurants on the outside looking in. But on the inside looking out, we were working 16, 17, 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. So not the success you would think of when you thought about being an entrepreneur. Yeah, we made money. We made a ton of it. We just had no time. We took 4 vacations as a family in 17 and a half years. Out of those 4 vacations, 2 were to see the in-laws. Those don't count. Don't tell my wife. She'll get mad if I said that. But when I saw the presentation the first time, I'll be completely honest. I'm from New York, and I was extremely skeptical. I'm like, man, this can't be real. What David just went over, I'm like, this is way too good to be true. But the girl that showed it to me, she was a former waitress of mine. She used to work for me. As a matter of fact, she was probably the worst waitress in the history of waitressing ever. We couldn't fire her because she was a friend of the family's. Her mom was my son's first babysitter. Her brothers used to work for me, and they were an amazing family. She was just a black sheep. She was horrible. She couldn't work in a restaurant. I couldn't fire her. Thank God she quit. And then a couple years later, she came knocking on my door, and we were already living in Florida. She's like, hey, I got to show you something. And she showed me this. And I said, Kelly, they got you. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, how much did they get you for? You should call up. She goes, no, I've been doing it for a year and a half. And I'm like, a year and a half and you never told me about it? She goes, well, quite honestly, no, like you scared the shit out of me. I didn't want to tell you because you're a mean son of a bitch. I wanted to tell your wife about it. So I waited, but I finally figured I got to get over my fear. What happened was she went to a training and they told her, get over your fear and go through your chicken list. And she came to show my wife. Funny enough, my wife loved to travel, but I saw the business side. I saw numbers. I said, man, this could be good. And we joined, man. We joined and we started taking trips. Like the first year, right off the bat, we took 8 trips. 4 and 17 and a half years, 8 trips in the first year. I knew this was real. I'm like, now I can share this with friends and family. So we get off to a mega fast start. Yeah, no, we didn't. It took us 14 months to hit senior rep. It took us 14 months to wrap my head around the system. It took me 14 months to get out of my own way. You know why? I was successful in my other business, and that didn't translate here. And I didn't want to listen to anyone. I didn't want to go to a training. I didn't want to go to a regional training and listen to someone that I have no idea what they know, try to teach me how to run business. I run multi-million-dollar businesses. I could do this on my own. Yeah, no, didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. We did have some success because I was just, ignorance on fire. I got excited just like David did. My first 24 hours, we got our fees waived as well. But that was just pure ignorance. I kept calling it World Adventures. I kept calling it a CBS instead of an RBS. I did everything you could do wrong, but I was so excited by it. We did get a couple people signed up that had done marketing before. And I was doing their presentations. I was doing their closing. They just did the invite, but they were having more success than I was. So we were building a team, but I was building it lopsided. I was just pouring people into one side and my other side wasn't going. And I tried to figure out what's going on. The difference was they were all going to training. They happened to live in cities that had training. I was in Florida back in 2011, no regional trainings, no leaders in Florida. As a matter of fact, for the longest time, I thought I was the only human soul in World Ventures in the whole state of Florida because we never talked about it. There weren't websites. There wasn't a Zoom. There weren't these conference calls. There weren't team calls. There weren't leaders like David putting this together for everyone to get together on a weekly basis. You were on your own. And that's what it felt like. And every time she invited me to a national event, I skipped the first two. Skipped it because I'm like, you know what? I just paid almost $500 to sign up. And now it's $75. But I paid $500 to sign up. You're going to tell me we got to go to another city and I got to pay $300 to $400 on a flight, another $600 to $800 on a hotel, another $300 to $400 on a ticket, plus food, plus expenses. No, I'm good. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And finally, they got me on the first trip, the first training I went to. And the reason she got me to go was, and David mentioned earlier, she mentioned the word Vegas. I was like, okay, cool. I get to go to Vegas. If I don't like this training, I'll walk out. I'll sneak out half an hour in. No one will notice that I'm gone. And I'll hang out in Vegas for the weekend. And that'll be it. Man, that training blew me away. If you guys have ever heard an audio that Eric G goes in and says something about get paid, get paid, get paid, we got to see that live. And, you know, God's timing. I was at the right place at the right time to hear the right person slap some sense upside my head. I'm like, oh my God, this is a real business. Like I could really take this seriously and take this to the next level. And that's when World Ventures really, you know, they say there's two dates. The day you get into World Ventures, the day that World Ventures gets into you. That day World Ventures got into me, I'm like, oh my God, this is bigger than I thought it ever could be. And if I just pay attention, like Marcus says, if I just pay attention, I can get really excited by this. And man, as long as I never quit, this is going to be huge. And that's been our motto for the last 9.5 years, David. It's been pay attention, get excited, never quit. And Mark said that the first training, paid attention to him. Eric G said, get paid, you know, work. And eventually you'll get paid. Well, for 5 years, I worked my ass off. I didn't get paid much. We worked. And we were doing what they told us to do, but we weren't doing it right. So there's a bunch of stuff going on there, but the story was knew nothing, completely against it, signed up, wasn't open to training, closed-minded, kept bringing in that New York attitude, like, you know, what's in it for me? What are they trying to get out of me? There's got to be something. What's the catch? What's the hook? And when I finally got it, when I finally realized, man, this is bigger than what we really think it is. Like, I don't know, there's probably 300 to 400 people in the room right now. If you realize you're sitting in $1 million seat right now in front of your computer, if you realize that if you just put in the work, if you just follow what the leaders, they give you a blueprint. Yeah, you're going to make it your own. They're going to give you a blueprint, but yeah, you could be sitting there and one day a $1 million earner is going to invite you to his webinar on a Saturday to talk to his team. You're talking to a 31-year-old that's earned over $1 million doing this. This is just facts. So we're sitting at the right place at the right time with the right person. The thing is, we got to recognize that we have that in our hands right now. So that's the short version of the answer, David.
Yeah, no, and Mike, you make some really good points already with that. So like, I hope everybody catches. I know there's a lot of people on here. You just had a great week, or you wrapped up May having a good month. Well, a good week or a good month means nothing. Like, you know, if you think of it in like a golf analogy, like that's great. You hit a great, you know, you had a great first hole. There's 17 more holes to go before we're gonna, and then these PGAs, then there's 3 more days afterwards to add up all of the scores. So just because you get off to a good start, or even if you get off to a bad start, doesn't necessarily dictate where it's going overall. But I mean, did you guys catch that? So he waived his fees in a day. There's a lot of you that waived your fees in a day. That doesn't mean you're going to crank right up to making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this if you don't continue to do the right things. I bet you there's all kinds of stuff in there that he did the first day that he didn't keep doing that took, he said, 14 months to get to senior rep. Now, some of you didn't get off to a fast start. Did you guys catch, I told you in the last 3 years, he's put 50,000 people on his team. We can get into that story a little bit more here too. But understand what if you got there, and because I tell this to people all the time, everybody overestimates what they're going to do the first couple of weeks and they underestimate what they're going to do the first few years. So 14 months to senior rep, you've paid more than you've made. I can almost assure that, and you're sitting there going, okay, but what, like so many people get to that point and they don't see what can keep going. Like almost everybody on this call, again, hundreds and hundreds of people on this call right now, a whole bunch are going to listen to the recording. And so many of you are so much closer to blowing this thing up beyond what you can even wrap your head around doing. You just don't realize you're already like 90% of the way there. It just doesn't feel like it because you haven't made 90% of the income you're looking to have. So again, there's so many good things in that. But Mike, you and I talking earlier this morning too. I loved hearing a lot of that story of how you kind of got, Mike's like the face of South America and what he's gotten going. I know he won't want to take the credit of that. I'm going to give him, a huge amount of the credit for that. But maybe just kind of walk around what's happened over the last couple of years. Again, went from 14 to 14 months to hit senior rep. Cranked up to, very close to R&D for, again, over years, whatever, had been successful, been a trainer and everything. And, again, if you didn't get the exact start you wanted in the first 3 months, that doesn't mean at any time we can't go make stuff happen. Crystal and I in our business, Mike, stuff has exploded over the last 120 days. Again, not any credit to us, just a lot of great leaders on the team, the same way I'm sure you're going to say. My point is we both have a similar story that some of our fastest growth we ever had has happened recently, not necessarily just in the first 6 months of our business kind of thing. You mind touching a little on the whole Brazil thing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So my wife's Brazilian. And right off, as soon as we got in, she started saying, oh my God, this would be great in the Brazilian community. At the time, World Ventures was only in probably 12 to 13 countries. So we're going way back. And at the time, we brought it up to our upline. I said, hey, what's the chances of Brazil being one of the countries that we open up? And they said, well, right now we're concentrating in our backyard. And we heard this all the time, build in your backyard. If you can't build at home, you can't build anywhere else. We're like, okay. So we're building in our backyard, but at the time we were living in Miami, but we also had our businesses in New York. New York City, the tri-state area has close to 700,000 Brazilians living in that area. We owned restaurants that were Brazilian restaurants, Brazilian bars. We were involved in the community. So we brought it up to a couple of leaders, and some of the first people I put in the business were Brazilian Americans. And we started building it with Brazilians in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And they were like, oh my God, when this gets to Brazil, this is going to be an explosion because they love to travel. This is going to be a great product. So we brought it up to them in 2011. They kind of poo-pooed on us, like, nah, it's not, don't worry about your backyard. 2012, when we started getting some momentum, and the momentum was the team's momentum. Like I said, we had 6 people on the team. I actually had 2 people on my team hit director before I hit senior rep, which means one of my sides was exploding. These 2 guys spoke not a lick of English. So I was doing the presentations, I was doing the closes. They were just inviting, but they were going to the trainings and getting what little they could out of it. And they understood because they had done other marketing before. They knew the power of the system. They're like, hey, just plug them into the system. We'll plug them into Mike and Mike will train them. So off the bat, I was asking, hey, is there any material in a foreign language? No. So we had to create our own. Is there any webinars in a foreign language? Nope. So we had to create our own. And we started doing this inside New York City. And then we took it to Miami and we started going back and forth. By 2012, we got a pretty large number. We had close to 4,000 people on the team with, I would say 75% with a footprint in Brazil. We took it back to corporate like, hey, this is good. We could go with this. And they announced from stage in 2012 that there were like 4 countries that were going to open. It was Malaysia, Singapore, Canada, and Brazil were announced from stage at one of the major events. 3 out of the 4 opened within 18 months. And the 4th one, Brazil, didn't get open. So we were getting frustrated. And now we had people like letting us know like, hey, why isn't this not going on? You lied to us. You promised this is going to open. I'm like, no, we promised we're going to work hard towards it. We lost almost all of those 4,000 people. They just decided, hey, we came in because we had this vision, but we didn't stick with it, and we lost our team. At the time, like you said, I was already a regional trainer. At the time, I was already going to these events, and I'm the leader, and I'm this, and I'm that. I let ego get in the way. As my team started dipping, I didn't know how to react to that. I didn't know how to work that. And instead of telling people, hey, I'm losing business, and like you said, I was 13 close to RMD, 13 sales away from RMD, and it started going backwards. And we lost RMD, we lost MD, we dipped below MD, then we dipped below director, and then it kept going back. And it went all the way down to 33 on my left side, 33 people, active sales on my left side. We went to an event called Go IMD back in 2015. And my right side was booming. I had 12 new leaders on my right side. They're exploding. They're going to their first major Go IMD event. They're excited. They haven't met some of these leaders. I've been a trainer now for a couple of years. I'm introducing them, and they see Troy Brown. Like, oh my God, that's Troy Brown. Oh, can you introduce me? I'm like, yeah, Troy's my boy. Let me go over. Come, hey, come on, let me Troy. Hey, Troy, could you give a word? And before I even finish the sentence, Troy Brown looks at me dead in the eye and goes, Mike Marich, you're still in this thing? I thought you quit. Troy Brown and Mark Aceta, they choose the trainers. They have access to all the numbers. They know exactly what's going on. Troy Brown wasn't afraid to hurt my feelings. He stepped on my toes really hard. My whole team was laughing. They thought it was hysterical. Like, oh my God, yo, Troy got you. They didn't know the story. They didn't know why he said that. He said that and walked away. He didn't even take a picture with the team. He just walked away. They thought he was like the OG. That dude is just a gangster. Like, I just wanted to punch Troy Brown in the throat. Like, I swear to God, for 3 days, I just wanted to punch. Like, I don't remember what was said, but he lit a fire under my ass because I said, man, if I built this once, I could build it again. And no one's going to tell me I should have quit. No one's going to tell me I'm still here. Who the hell does he think he is? A month later, a little bit, 6 weeks later, we were at Baltimore for A View from the Edge. And those 6 weeks, I was trying everything. I was doing everything that they told, make a new list, go out, call people, do the stuff that you got to do. I was doing it to the letter, and I'm not getting traction. I'm like, man, this is not going, man. What the hell? Like, I'm doing everything. I'm like every book. I've got my journals here. I've got like 7 or 8 journals that I fill up every time for trainings. I read through them. I got my books. I'm going through everything. It's not working. And I literally went to Baltimore. Quite honestly, I was going to tell my upline, hey, I'm going to still be a member. But yeah, I've done everything. It's not going. It's not going. And I went to that event to kind of throw in the rep towel. I was like, all right, this is going to be my last event. I love the view. I love the parties. It's great. The red carpet, all that good stuff. I'm a little blue if you can't tell. But I was really going there saying, that's it. I've already built this up, lost it, built it up, lost it, built it up, lost it. I'm 3 away from losing senior rep. This is embarrassing. So I'm just going to stop doing this. And if you've ever been to the View, you already know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been to the View, I love every single event we have. Every event, they always ask, what's the best event? What's your favorite event? The next one. That's been the answer because it always is. But in my heart, the View is the one that gets me the most. And if you have been around for a while, you already know the events are color coded. If you know the personality tests, you know that we start the year off with momentum, and that's a very red event for people that are hard chargers, gunners. Then we have United, one event all over the world. We all get together. We're yellow. We hug each other, and we show how big this thing is worldwide. Then we have, it used to be called Millionaire Boot Camp. Now it's just called Boot Camp, but that's very green, detail oriented, and the View is blue. It's an edutainment. So I was there, but I wasn't there. And then the last character of the day, Mark changes characters every year, but a couple characters are staples every single year. And one of them was called the hockey player. And at the hockey player, this is my 5th View. I know what's coming. I know he's going to play the Eminem song. I know I'm going to cry because I cry every single year at that character because he gets me every single year. And he gets to a point where he says, you know what? If you want something to happen, make it happen. What's holding you back? And he starts screaming, I am the voice and I am the warrior. And he starts to and right before he does that, he has you break off into pairs. And I remember this year because I broke off into a pair with a good friend of mine. He's my brother today, also another regional trainer, a gentleman named Kirk Budd. And we broke off, and Kirk's my upline. Kirk has access to see everything. And Kirk's the second person that has the guts to kind of call me out. He goes, I know what you're going through. I see your numbers. What are you going to do about it? God is, and I'm not preaching to anyone. I'm not pushing off religion, but when you believe in something big enough, God will show you signs all throughout your day. And I had a sign with Troy Brown. I had a sign with Kirk Budd. And then I had a sign with my phone. Because right before Mark goes into that soliloquy, my phone starts to tremble. I put it on vibrate. Pleasure mode. You know what they call it. So it starts trembling. And this arena in Baltimore, we were sitting so close to each other. My wife was right next to me. And it's in my cargo pants. And she could feel it vibrate. She goes, someone's calling me. I'm like, I know, but I'm at a training. And it won't stop vibrating. The person keeps ringing over and over again. And I'm like, man, what a pain in the ass. And she just answered. I'm like, I'm at training. I'm not answering it. And Mark's saying, hey, you'll get a sign. Something's got to happen. You'll know it when you know it. And she's like, there's a sign. Someone's calling you. I look down and it's a number from Brazil. I don't know the number. And I'm like, who the heck is this? So I text the person, like, hey, I'm at a training. I can't talk. The person writes back, is this Mike Marich? I said, yes. He said, well, I'm the guy you're looking for to open up Brazil. That was the text. I'm looking at it like, yeah, right, whatever, BS. Sure, can't talk now. He goes, I just need 15 minutes. I'm like, I'll be done in an hour. He goes, well, in 61 minutes, please call me. I call him to have a 5-minute conversation. Yeah, I've heard this before. I'm the one you're looking for. I'm the guy. I'm the girl. I'm the star. I'm going to crush this. I'm going to do this. We get on the phone, and the person on the phone tells me, he goes, yeah, I was in World Ventures way back because my cousin showed it to me, and I never got it. I'm in Brazil now. I know you're not open. I have connects. I know people. I know marketing. I'm the one you're looking for. Let's do this. 2015. At that moment, I put off my conversation with Dave and Yvette, my upline. I put off my conversation with Martin Ruoff, and I said, you know what? Let me see what this guy's got. That night we spoke for 4 hours. The next morning, before we get to the event, I spoke for another 2 hours. After the event, I spoke for another 6 hours. We went to corporate and we said, hey, we got the leads, we have the people, we have everything set up for Brazil. Could we revisit it? And they're like, nope, we're not doing Brazil right now. We were handcuffed for another year, but we were working together and like, what do we need to open up this country? So we weren't even reps anymore. Now we're acting as like extensions of World Ventures. Well, we need legal, we need translations, we need banking, we need finance, we need customer service, we need 25 different items that they gave us. This is what we need in place before we even think about opening Brazil. All of a sudden, we were still building the business, but now we're actually serving as whatever you want to call it, gophers, to get all these things done because World Ventures at the time didn't have the manpower or the resources to go into Brazil and do this. So we did. And from October 2015 to November 2016, we put in no sales with that line of lineage. We just worked at getting everything ready. October of 2016 at The View, we had another conversation with the execs and they're like, we ready? They're like, nope. I was like, we gave you everything you needed. They're like, nope. We had our upline actually speak to a couple of the execs off the record. And they said, listen, if you guys could show us interest, if you could show us that we could have a couple hundred people that would get excited by this, we'll start talking about it. November 1st, 2016, we started doing, and now we had the technology. It wasn't Zoom. It was called freeconferencecall.com. We bought conference rooms. And the first 100 people are free, but once you get bigger rooms, you need to pay more. Like Zoom, if you need a bigger room, you got to pay more money. We said, man, we're going to get a bunch of people. And the person I was working with, he was extremely hyper. And Mike, we're going to pack out the room. 100 people's not enough. You need a bigger room. We need a bigger room. We need a bigger room. I bought into the hype and I'm like, man, this is going to crush it. We're going to go into this country. We're going to get people. And our initial goal was to get people in the US that knew people there. So we're like, all right, we got to get a room. We got a room for 1,000 people. Cost me at the time $260 to get the room, which, because I wasn't making any money. We invited November 1st, man. We're like, we're going to get 1,000 people in the room. We're going to get 1,000 people in the room. Oh man, we're excited. So our first webinar on November 1st, we got a room for 1,000. We had 8 people show up to the room. The 6 reps and my mom and my sister. And they don't even speak Portuguese. They just came in just to support. We had a choice, man. We could keep doing this or like just pack it up and let it go. From November 1st to April 30th, we did 3 webinars a day, every day, 7 days a week, no excuses. I turned all distractions off. I stopped looking at TV. We got rid of our cable and we just started working. Our first month, we put in like 60 apps. Our second month, we did about 120. So November, December, we ended the year with about 180 new people. January, February, March, and April, we went from 180 to 4,000. And it was just work. And again, lessons learned. We weren't working. I was doing all the presentations. No one was ready yet. I wasn't creating new leaders. I was just literally doing everything. And then finally, exhaustion hit. I was like, you know what? I can't do this by myself. And lessons I learned from Terry Camp, like you can't lead more than 100 people by yourself. And we had thousands of people, and I was the only one presenting. I was the only one closing. I was doing product training. I was doing all the trainings, and all they did was invite, and we were doing everything. I was doing everything. So we finally decided, hey, some people need to step up. And then from April of 2017 through September of 2019, we grew over 30,000 sales. And we started popping off ranks after ranks. I mean, at first, I was trying to call every single person that hit senior rep and say, hey, this is Mike, congratulations, welcome. And then, you know, there were days that we would open up our back office and we'd have 23 new senior reps, 57 new 3-stars. One day, it was funny, Matt Morris posted like a video of how many people had like ranked up that week. And I started looking at ours and I'm like, man, I posted, but Matt has me beat by a couple, but not by much. We were gunning And we went from making close to no money in 2016. I'm talking about maybe $18,000, building everything up, residual, everything, to making close to $147,000 the next year. It happened in a blink of an eye, but it wasn't a blink of an eye. It was working towards that goal, getting everything together, getting the right people, lining it all up. And when it went so damn fast. And all we had to do was create, and that's not create, but build more leaders. You know, Wayne Nugent always says, you know, we don't build this business. We build leaders, and leaders build the business. And we started building new leaders, even if that meant people hitting rank before I did. Because at the time I was still a marketing director. So my lineages were all off. How do you put in 37,000 and you don't hit IMD? We were working on one lineage. We were working to make a foundation so solid that it would never, ever have to worry about it ever again. So we were working with leaders in one specific lineage. I was cycling, but I got to a point where I maxed out at MD. I maxed out the residual. I maxed out the weekly bonuses every single week. And then, you know what? We don't chase ranks. We don't chase pins. We chase the money until the money runs out. When the money runs out, then we chase the next pin. When the money ran out, I'm like, I'm leaving money on the table. I got to hit the next rank. Now I got to build it again. Now we had the blueprint and we did it all over again. So that was the close to, hey, we're about to get quit. We've had, I don't care who you are. I think you've always had that inkling, man, this is not for me. I'm not going to make it. No matter how hard you go through it, but you have that aha moment, that wake up moment, that slap you in the face. That was Marcus Etta, the hockey player, up my face, in my face. Kirk Bud telling me, I know what you're going through. Troy Brown telling me, I thought you quit. All these little things added up. And I'm like, you know what? I never quit anything in my life. Why would I start now? That was what happened, David.
Well, and there's so many good things we can unpack through that. Look, I think most people, Mike, are one of two people in your story on this call right now. They're the person that, is really trying to go for it, and they get their conference call for 1,000 people and only 8 get on, and they go, huh. Well, I thought this was going to work out a little better than this. And again, we all overestimate in the beginning on, anytime you're starting a new team, anytime people are getting started. And I love how you point out, man, it's like the kiss of death normally when people go, hey, I'm the guy you're looking for. I'm going to kill this. I remember Dr. Peach, one of my very first events I ever went to, one of my buddies from back home, we're all on, some kind of shuttle going over to like a party at the event. And he goes, Dr. Peach, remember this face. And he looks at him without a hesitate and goes, I'll never see you again. By the way, Mike, he quit shortly after that. So he was right. It's like, so that's normally like the kiss of death. But again, we like the people that are confident. But look, so again, some of us are in we're going to give it everything we got. And wow, that didn't work whatsoever. What do average people do when they're not good at something in the beginning? Because if you haven't done something before, so, if you've never went and built a massive organization, doing something like this before, you're probably not going to be great at it right away. That doesn't mean you can't develop to be great. Like, I think all these people that are good at all these different sporting events, I promise you they weren't great right away. They probably sucked the first time they picked up a football, the first time they swung a baseball bat or whatever, but they got better as they went. Same thing here. You can get better at what you do as you go through it. So just because you suck at it right away doesn't mean that's going to go forever. But most people, average people, when they're not good at something, they just quit and they're just like, all right, and they move on to the next thing. Then they stay average at everything their entire life. Like, so that some of you are at there. You can relate to, 1,000 people I'd love to put on a Zoom call, and I can get 8, including my grandma on there. This is just wonderful. Then there's other people. I really hope that, you really caught this. Some of you, like I said, had massive amount of growth over the last few weeks, over the last few months. Did you catch? He went from, let me make sure I got this right. He went from 180 people to 4,000 people in a matter of what sounded like about 90 days. 180 people to 4,000 people. Then in 1 year, he went from making about 20,000 to over 140,000 in 1 year. So also, did you catch what he said there? He was chasing the money until the money ran out, then chase the rank. Like, yes, we all want to hit ranks. We want to do all these things, but build it for the money to come. The rank will definitely follow. I can appreciate that advice so much, Mike. And man, again, when you have momentum on something, you keep your foot on the gas. I've been saying that week after week on this call, Mike, and you're a perfect example of that. It's not, okay, like what if he would have taken his foot off the gas? I hope everyone really gets this. What if he would have taken his foot off the gas at 4,000? Like, all right, this is infinitely bigger than what I'm doing on the other side, on my other lines. Like, I need to focus to go hit, RMD or NMD. And he takes the foot off on 4,000. What would that 4,000 look like today? It probably wouldn't have went to 50,000. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have. But I would guess, and I can see by him shaking his head, no, it wouldn't have. He kept his foot on the gas. I talk to Dr. Peach about this all the time, Mike. I have so much respect for him and for some of these, leaders, that have, come before us on all this, where they kept their foot on the gas long enough that they were able to become irrelevant in our business. So why I respect Dr. Peach so much is he doesn't have to try to play a role that he doesn't have to, play. He sat there and broke the records in the US, hit IMD in less than a year, kept his foot on the gas another like 700 days, pushed that thing so far down that those teams that he helped start along the way, he became so completely insignificant too, that it truly was done, where whether he was there, whether he was, at home sleeping, whether he was with his family on vacation, it was irrelevant. And that's what's so inspiring to watch what you have went and built with this team. I would imagine you'd say you're pretty close to that, the same way now, what you pushed all the way to 50,000 people. But it started with a conference call that 8 out of 1,000 showed up on, with grandma being one. Like really, guys, wrap your head around what that looks like. And like when I said at the beginning of the call, people are 90% of the way there and they don't even realize it. Like, what would have happened if Mike just checked out from that? Or back up even more. What if the waitress wouldn't have went and reached out to Mike? Where would all of this be right now? Like, there's so many people. You really are one or two good people away from completely changing your financial future. You are one or two good people away from complete time and money freedom. It's not that you need to have 40,000 people. Some of you can't wrap your head around 50,000 people. I know that's a huge number. Or you can't even wrap your head around 10,000 people. You can't even wrap your head around 1,000 people. But it's not you going and putting all that in. It was one phone call that helped start that entire thing. Except on the other end, it wasn't just one phone call. It was hard work and determination. And when things went up and down, it wasn't riding a roller coaster. See, most people would have been gone. Have you guys ever seen the meme where it shows, two guys digging, trying to get a diamond, and the guy on the top is like this far away, and he's like, forget it. He's gone. He's already walking by. He's like, I knew there wasn't anything here, and he's walking away. And then there's a guy that's like that far away, but he's just a digging. Well, look, it doesn't matter how close somebody was if they just check out and they miss what was happening, versus the guy that maybe they're even way further away. It's just like, everyone comes to the starting line at different points. Some of you guys are first and goal when you start at the 2-yard line, and all you got to do is go punch it in. Maybe you had more credibility with people. Maybe you, had, lots of credibility with your contacts. Maybe you're tough as nails and you already don't care whether people say yes or no. Some people, they start on the 50-yard line. Some people aren't even in the stadium. But again, I don't care if you're the guy that's working at the water boy stand, you're not even on the field yet. You can get all the way down and punch that in the same way someone was at first and goal. If they don't go punch it in, you might have to go do a little bit more, but you can make up in numbers what you lack in skill. And I promise you, that call wasn't the first thing that Mike did to go and build something like that. So many good things with that. The other thing I really want to point out, Mike, as we were talking before, most of you are building, all in the country that you live in. Let's take the United States, for example. Mike and I having other conversations, like try to wrap your head around the difficulties of language barriers, over not having correct tools, over how banking works in different countries. So imagine the person has enough money to buy 10 titanium memberships, but their cards, all that they have in their wallet, won't even take a silver membership. Not because they don't have the money, but because we just can't even at that time accept that specific card. Those are the kind of things that they went through and still put 50,000 people in. While we're sitting here and all we have to do is pick up the phone and call our friend. And by the way, their card will work no problem. By the way, they have access to a membership that they definitely have enough money on their card to go and do. But we don't go put 50,000 people in. Why? Like that's what I'm sitting around looking like. Mike, our team's had some great success over the last few months. I'm hearing these stories going 180 to 4,000. We should be able to do that a lot faster in a place where we have the ability to take the money just as easy. There's no language barriers between all that. Like all of us have the ability to put our foot on the gas that much more. That's what really inspires me when I hear that story.
Well, here's the thing. We sign people up and they don't know any different. So if we come in and we're showing speed, and we're like, the normal is we're doing 10 presentations a day, you got to bring 10 people a day. And that's all they see as normal. They're like, all right, I'll invite 10 people. I can do that. And if they don't have 10, they'll go on the street and like, hey, do you like to travel? Sure. What are you doing at 7 o'clock? Nothing. Cool. Give me your contact. I'm going to send you a link. They don't know any different. We've become complacent. And I see that with my team in the States. They started growing real fast. And then all of a sudden, everyone becomes a manager. Everyone's like, okay, we're in management mode, and you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you should do this, and you should do that. But they're not doing it themselves. And I know we spoke about this earlier, and I love our leadership, but some people are living off stories that they had 5, 6, 7 years ago. We're going out there every single day. Like, we're doing presentations every day. We're doing Zooms every day. We're doing Super Saturdays every day. Right now, I'm on the phone with you. My team in Brazil, they're probably not even on here because they're doing a Super Saturday. I don't have to be there. I'm going to jump on later on, but they've got 500 or 600 people in a room on one of the teams. Another one of my teams, they're doing calls with people in Europe because they have teams going in Europe. They don't know any different. So if this is the norm for them, and we tell them, if you want to treat this like a job, how hard do you work at a job? 8 hours a day. Cool. How many people here do 8 hours a day World Ventures? How many of you actually put in 8 full hours in World Ventures? Raise your hand. I'll put my hand down because I didn't do 8 hours a day. I wasn't doing 8 hours a day. And, people are like, oh, you got lucky. No, I learned because we built a team up once and lost it. We built it up a second time and lost it. We built it up a third time and lost it. So when I built it the fourth time, I knew what I did wrong the first 3 times. I didn't realize until the third time. The problem was me. The problem was my ego, my attitude towards it, how I was leading. The 6 people that were on that webinar, plus my mom and my sister, out of those 6, only 1 is still in the business. 5 of those guys didn't have the vision. Like they quit along the way, but we started getting people and started to snowball, and they quit within the first 30 days. They're like, man, this isn't working. The one guy that stuck around, he had 60 people on his team by the end of the first month. He stuck around. He's got a spillover, he's got a team lineage and spillover now of close to 57,000 people. Because after we opened the country, now that the country's officially open, we had the syndrome. They weren't working hard enough. They started slowing down. Now, oh, we did it. We opened. Now we can sit back and relax. And the numbers kind of flatlined. Then we're like, what the hell's going on? Like, we thought once it's open and the credit cards are being accepted and all this stuff is easier now, it's going to explode. No, human nature is human nature. Once they got to their goal, they didn't have another goal. They didn't have the next level. And people are, and again, not that they're stuck. I don't think you can be stuck at regional marketing director, but you get there within 15, 16 months, and all of a sudden it's 2 years later, you're still at the same spot. You got to start reevaluating. And then with everything that the company gave us, everything they handed to us, the world outside, what's happening right now, and this may sound cruel, it's actually a blessing to us in disguise of what's the whole pandemic. Feel bad for the people that lost their lives. Everything going on, we have to pray for the world outside. But it showed the world they have to have a plan B. What's the perfect plan B? We have it. And whether it's our plan B or someone else's, they need something. 40 million Americans close to it are looking for a job. We're offering something in the palm of their hands for $75. If we realize, and again, repeat that, you're sitting in $1 million seat. We gave a country, a third world country, a view of something. We said it's going to cost you $75 US. Multiply that into their currency. That's 450 reais. The average salary in Brazil is 900 reais a month. So we're talking about half a month's salary to get a silver membership. Half a month to get a silver membership. And now you got to sell that to other people. They took that because they saw not half a month of salary. They saw that they could hit senior rep and make $300 to $500 US a month residually. When you multiply that by 5, you're talking about 2,500 reais a month. You're talking about having double or triple the income of someone down there. So when you talk to someone at McDonald's and they're making $10 an hour and you say, hey, we can make $300 a month, it doesn't excite them. When you're talking to someone that could change their life and $300 a month is huge, then all of a sudden you're talking about a game changer. And the people that we have here, we're just too complacent. We're not seeing that an extra $200, $300 a month is going to make a difference. This week I was on a webinar with Shush from London, one of our IMDs, and he was interviewing Peter Powderham, who is the #1 income earner in all of World Ventures. If you don't know who he is, look him up. I had never seen him train. Peter, he said, listen, I had to move some money into a savings account. And I'm not saying this to brag or boast, but I moved over £1 million, 1.3 million pounds into a savings account And that was 90 days ago. And it was at 0.001 interest. He checked. He goes, do you know how much money I made in interest last month off that account, off of 1.3 million pounds or $1.7 million? He made 11 bucks in interest. $11 in interest off $1.7 million because of everything that's happening in the world. Do you realize when you're a senior rep, if you were getting 2% back, which is lowballing it, if you're a senior rep, you would have to have close to 300,000 US dollars in the bank account to get it at 2%. We're building residual wealth, and the money that we're creating is generational. It's generational. We're looking at changing the world, and people like, man, you have lofty goals. I'm like, no, I just started with one person. Change the man in the mirror first. Change the woman in the mirror first. And once that happens, you could start doing something that could definitely change your neighborhood, change your city, change your state, change your country, change a continent. You know, and David, I appreciate you saying about Brazil and South America and being the face of it. There's a ton of faces in South America right now. We just had our first ever Super Saturday for Latin America. This weekend, we have regional training. We have 200 plus regional trainers. I mean, the company could have chosen any one of 200 people that are qualified. You're one of the chosen trainers to be there. So the team doesn't know how blessed they are to have you every single week pouring into them. I mean, if you guys realize how much knowledge is coming into that. A week after that regional training, we have the first ever World Venture event all in Spanish. It's never happened before. As a matter of fact, I'm learning Spanish just to be a trainer on the webinar. I'm not a native Brazilian Portuguese speaker. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. I've been doing lessons for the last 6 years. I did get married to my wife. I do speak enough and I understand it. But once we got to the point where we knew this is going to be big, I had to work on me. I had to work on my Portuguese. I had to work on my grammar. I had to work on my enunciation. I had to work on my public speaking skills. I joined a club called Toastmasters, not in English. I joined it in Portuguese because I knew that someday I would have to do these presentations in a different country. I had to get rid of my vices. I had to get rid of my ums and my ahs and you know what I'm saying, because I knew when I got there, people wanted to listen to this. So I didn't just get good at World Ventures. I got good at everything around it because I knew that I had to be completely well-rounded to lead other people. And, you know, in leading other people, I'll take this from Martin Ruoff. If you want other people to follow in your footsteps, get your damn feet out of the way. I had to move out of the way to let other people start leading as well. So yeah, I haven't hit IMD yet, but we've hit RMD in multiple positions. I've got 2 people that have hit IMD. I've had 4 people hit NMD. I've had 7 people hit regional marketing director, and I've had over 1,000 families hit residual income. When you have 1,000 families anywhere in the world that can get money coming in every single month, you could retire one or if not both parents because of the residual income. You know you're changing the game. So yeah, are we going to travel? For damn sure we're going to travel. I love this sign right here. That you should be your sign. Change my life. We're going to make money? Yeah, we're going to make money. As a matter of fact, the year I made this, we made the 100,000 for the ring. We spent 87,000 of that just flying back to Brazil, getting hotels, paying for flights, paying for meetings, paying for hotel rooms, just to pour back into the business. So yeah, we made money, but we poured it right back in. So we'll take the flights, we'll make the money. It's the people that we meet and the person you're going to become that is the game changer in this whole thing. So if you get that, if you see it for what it is, then you're going to, again, repeat myself. You know that you're at the right time, at the right place, with the right company. And there is no better time right now. I mean, I'm watching, there's a gentleman on your team. I haven't met him personally, but I saw him. He was like 100, like a couple months ago. Then it was 200, then it went 300. And then this morning it was like 900. And I'm like, dude, I want him. I want to bottle him up and show people that this is how you do it. Whatever he's doing, he's following a leader. He's following the system, and he's putting in the effort. And again, he's not doing it by himself. Yeah, he's the leader, but I'm sure out of those 1,800 people that are there or plus, that he's got so many other leaders that are going to be doing the same thing, because that all they see is what the leader does. Monkey see, monkey do, and that's what we do. My favorite training that Marcus said, one of my favorite trainings, I can't say it's my favorite, but one of Marcus said asks all the parents in the room, how many people here taught your kids how to walk? Raise your hand. And man, out of thousands of people, like all these moms and dads, I taught my kids, I taught them how to walk. And Marcus said, goes, you're all liars. None of you taught them how to walk. Not a one of you taught them how to walk. You know how they learned how to walk? By watching you, by imitating you, by copying you. Do the right thing, because all the people you put in this business, they're all your kids. They're all your babies. They're trying to learn how to walk. The only way they learn is watching what you do. So be a responsible leader. Do the right thing, even when people aren't looking. Do the right thing, even when you don't think it matters. Because when all is said and done, it's going to come back to you. and we learn through our mistakes. So I'm hoping that, you know, what we took 9 years to do, people do it in 9 months. That's the goal, David, man. I know you've been around for a long time. I've been around for a long time, and we're finally getting it. We're finally turning that key, and we just want as many people on board as possible.
Again, so many good nuggets. I cannot believe we already flew through an hour through all this, Mike. Man, so many good things. So he touched on this next weekend. We have a regional training event. If you go to WV Event Reg, WVEventReg.com. So this the Saturday from now, 1 week from today, is our English-speaking global regional training event. So you can get registered for that. Some amazing powerhouse speakers, people like Hadiatu and Travis Just and Eric Grabowski. I'll be doing a segment myself. Like, so many amazing, amazing people on that one. So we won't be on this call next week, WVEventReg.com. Something like $20 or some crazy thing. Like normally you'd have to go to an entire stadium of people filled up to get the kind of lineup you're gonna hear. And the weekend after that, will be the Spanish-Portuguese global training, where Mike is one of the keynote speakers on that as well. So some amazing powerhouse trainings coming up, which will be really, really good from there. And then on top of that, I really just, as we kind of wrap up, Mike, I'd love maybe 60 seconds at the end of this, is here's what I've gathered personally. You know, for those of you that really got stuff going on, you know, you mentioned someone like HV went all the way to 900. You know, there's lots of amazing leaders that are on here that have great stuff going on, Mike. You know, what I gathered is we have to constantly reset goals and make sure your goals are big enough. You know, Eric Grabowski taught me this a long time ago, and you reminded me of this, Mike. Make sure your goals have all of your team fit inside them. So, you know, Mike said there was 1 week he had 23 new senior reps. That's a new goal of mine. I want to see 23 new senior reps hit in 1 week. That's pretty crazy cool. I would love to see a new team go from 180 to 4,000 in 90 days. But again, make sure you're resetting your goals. I would encourage all 350 of us on this call right now, reset whatever you want to see between now to boot camp here coming up over the next 6 weeks. What do you want to see happen over the next 6 weeks? What kind of growth do you want to see? How many new residual earners do you want to see on your team? Having 1,000 people in your organization making a residual income, you think you're making an impact. You think you're probably doing all right yourself if you go and grow yourself to something like that. But again, a lot of times we think too small. We only can see, you know, what we're trying to accomplish, and we can't even imagine. Again, what I hope a lot of people got through here, and I've definitely taken from that story. It doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what continent, doesn't matter what state, what city. Set goals big enough that can move away from you and keep your foot on the gas to go forward, going and making those things happen. Because again, we are one phone call away. We are one direct message away. We are one text message away, one travel party, one Zoom call away from things dramatically looking different 90 days from now. And if it can happen to other people, it 100% can happen to you. So Mike, if you would, you know, maybe close this out in 60 seconds. If you're going to talk to the person that wants to go take their business to the next level. Like maybe we're only talking to 2% of the people on this or, you know, listening to this recording, you know, someone that already has something going on and they want to take that to the next level. They want to put their foot down even harder between now and boot camp. What would you say to that person?
Man, get ready to take a punch. You're about to go make a decision that you're going to make it happen, but get ready to take a punch because the punches are going to come. The punches are going to come from your best friends. The punches are going to come from your husband, from your wife. The punches are going to come from your family. The punches are going to come from people that let you down. But just know in your mind that you have everything that it takes. It's already in here. And with all these trainings, it's coming in here. This and this. I mean, one of my favorite words in the whole world is the word courage. Courage is a French word. If you break it down, I love breaking down words. That's my green in me. Cœur, heart. Age, A-G-E, agir, which in French means to act. So courage is act with your heart. If you act with your heart, you can never go wrong. Have the courage to tell people, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. How long is it going to take? However long it takes, it's going to take. You know, I always go back to a training I did once, second time I went training with Dave Watson. And he put something up on the screen and it blew my mind. He said, man, I have 128,000 active members right now. And I broke it down because he actually opened his back office and it was pretty equal, like on both sides. And I broke it down. And at that time, he would have to have put in 12 people a day, every single day for all those 8 years to equal 128,000 people. So that's 12 sales going in every single day. At the time, if you do 6 and 6, that was 2 cycles every single day. The numbers were ridiculous. And I'm like, how do you do that? He goes, one at a time. It's the power of one. Don't worry about the 128,000. Don't worry about the 3,000. Don't worry about getting IMD, NMD, RMD. Don't worry about getting your 4. Go out and get one. Get one and show them how big this thing can really be. Michael Catlow, another friend of mine, does a great training, Power of One. If you get one per month, and all you do is teach that person to get one the next month, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. In 12 months, there's 4,096 people in your team. All you did was get 12 people personally. If you could do one a month, why can't you do one a week? We do one a week, we can get 12 people. 12 people in 12 weeks, and all of a sudden 12 weeks from now, you have a huge team. In 2017, my first guy that ever hit IMD, he was a marketing director in Kentucky the event before, and he did a 90-day run from marketing director. He hit RMD, NMD, IMD, 100K lifetime and 100K in a year, all within 90 days. It'll never happen again because Marcus had already banished it. He went on stage 5 separate times in one event. And Marcus said, I'm tired of seeing the same dude. I'm like, he earned it. He goes, okay, if anyone hits multiple ranks next time, they're going to get one time to get all their awards at once because we can't have the same guy do 5-minute speeches every single time. I was like, that's great. He broke the rule. He changed it because no one thought it was possible until somebody did it. But all he did, he got 1, 1 got 2, 2 got 4, 4 got 8, 8 got 16, 16 got 32. And all we did was we put our foot on the gas and didn't take it off. If I can do it in 10 years, why can't you do it in 10 months? If we can do it in 10 months, why can't we do it in 10 weeks? If we can do it in 10 weeks, damn, what the hell can we do in the next 10 days? Guys, I appreciate you having me on. David, thank you so much for the invite. I owe you one, and appreciate you having me on, and congratulations on all your growth, your leadership. And there's only one thing I don't like about you, man. You're not on my team. But besides that, love you, brother. I appreciate you having me on, and can't wait to see you. I'll be on Saturday, watching you on Super Saturday on the RTE for sure. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Mike, thank you again. Everybody have a great week. God bless, and let's go get one.